Welcome to the channel The Coin Merchant, and before you reach into your pocket or toss that spare change into a drawer, you need to stop and listen very carefully, because what I'm about to share with you could be the most important 60 seconds of your financial life, and it all starts with a coin you've probably already held in your hand 100 times without a second thought, the 1996 P Jefferson nickel. A coin so ordinary looking that millions of Americans spend it every single day on gum, parking meters, and vending machines without ever realizing what they might be throwing away. And here's the part that's going to make your jaw drop: this nickel, this tiny 5-cent piece that feels like absolutely nothing in your palm, has sold for amounts so staggering that the story made collectors across the country stop dead in their tracks in pure disbelief. Can you imagine reaching into your change jar tonight, pulling out a nickel, and discovering it could buy you a luxury home, a fleet of cars, or set your entire family up for generations? That's not a fantasy, that is the documented reality of the 1996 P Jefferson nickel, and by the time this video is done, you're going to know exactly what to look for. This coin has sold for as much as $98 million, and that number alone should tell you that we are not talking about a typical coin story. We are talking about one of the most remarkable valuations in the entire history of American numismatics, a figure that turns everything you thought you knew about pocket change completely on its head. Now let's talk about why this particular nickel carries such extraordinary potential, because it's not just about the year or the mint mark. It's about a very specific combination of circumstances that came together in 1996 at the Philadelphia Mint to create something that collectors have been hunting for with almost obsessive dedication ever since. The year 1996 was a fascinating moment in American coinage history, coming right in the middle of a decade when the United States Mint was producing billions of coins annually to meet the demands of a booming economy. And the sheer volume of production at the Philadelphia facility that year actually worked against quality control in ways that created some of the most spectacular error coins of the modern era. Think about that for a second. The very fact that they were making so many coins so fast is precisely what caused certain 1996 P nickels to slip through the system with characteristics that made them breathtakingly valuable to the right collector. But hold on, because the next coin we're covering has an even more unbelievable story that connects to this one in a way you're absolutely not going to see coming. Now, what exactly are you looking for when you pick up a 1996 P Jefferson nickel? The first thing you want to examine is the obverse, which is the side featuring Thomas Jefferson's portrait, and you're specifically hunting for what's known as a double die error, where the coin's design elements appear to be slightly duplicated or blurred in a way that's very distinct from normal wear. This isn't the same as a coin that's been scratched or damaged. This is a deliberate doubling baked into the die itself during the manufacturing process, visible most dramatically in the lettering, in Jefferson's eye, and along the strong horizontal lines of his profile. When collectors talk about double die errors, they're referring to a phenomenon where the hub, the master tool used to create the die, imprints itself onto the die in two slightly offset positions, essentially stamping the design twice at subtly different angles, and the result is a coin where certain elements look unmistakably double to the naked eye or under modest magnification. Hit that like button right now if you're already reaching for your change jar, because we're just getting started and the identification details keep getting more specific and more useful the further we go. The reverse of the 1996 P Jefferson nickel is equally important to examine, and here you're looking at Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate, with particular attention to the columns of the building and the inscription Monticello below it. On the most valuable error examples, these elements show the same dramatic doubling that makes the obverse so distinctive, and the combination of doubling on both sides is what pushes certain specimens into truly extraordinary valuation territory. Now, grading plays an absolutely critical role in determining where on the value spectrum your coin lands, and this is where things get genuinely exciting for anyone who understands the system, because a 1996 P Jefferson nickel that grades MS 67 or higher in the Sheldon scale meaning it's in essentially perfect mint state condition with virtually no contact marks, full luster, and exceptional strike quality, occupies an entirely different universe of value than a circulated example showing heavy wear. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC are the gatekeepers of this world, and their assessments can literally mean the difference between a coin worth face value and one worth life-changing money, which is why if you find something that looks promising in your collection, getting it authenticated and graded by a reputable service should be your absolute first priority. Stick around because the coin coming up next has collectors fighting over it for reasons you simply won't believe, and the backstory involves a discovery so unexpected that it became legend in numismatic circles almost overnight. The auction history of exceptional 1996 P Jefferson Nickels reads like a financial thriller, with documented sales at major auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers showing prices that climbed dramatically year over year as awareness of this coin's potential spread through the collecting community, and the trajectory has been consistently upward, driven by a combination of genuine scarcity at the highest grade levels and intensifying collector demand that shows absolutely no signs of slowing down. Subscribe to the Coin Merchant right now because the next coin we cover could literally be sitting in your change dish at home, and you do not want to be the person who spent it on a candy bar after watching this video. Here's something that absolutely blew my mind when I first learned it. The 1996 P Jefferson nickel is considered by many serious numismatists to be one of the most underappreciated error series in modern American coinage, meaning that despite everything we know about its potential value, there are almost certainly still examples sitting in circulation, in old coin rolls, in the bottom of piggy banks, and tucked away in estate collections that haven't been properly identified yet. Can you imagine being the person who finds one? The discovery stories that circulate in the coin collecting community are the stuff of legend, families going through the effects of a grandparent and finding a carefully saved roll of nickels that turns out to contain a specimen worth more than the house they grew up in, or a casual collector who grabbed a bag of coins at a bank to search through out of boredom and pulled out something that changed everything. That's the magic of coin collecting at its most powerful, and the 1996 P Jefferson nickel sits right at the center of that magic. What you need to do right now, tonight, is pull out every 1996 P Jefferson nickel you can find, and you'll know it's a P mint coin because you'll see the tiny P mint mark just to the right of Monticello on the reverse, and examine it carefully under good lighting and ideally a loupe or magnifying glass of at least 5 to 10 power magnification. Look for that characteristic doubling in the lettering and portrait elements, check the condition carefully, and if you see anything that makes you think twice, put that coin in a protective holder immediately and reach out to a professional grading service. Don't go anywhere, because the next coin in this video has a secret that changes absolutely everything you think you know about Jefferson Nickels from the 1990s. Next, the 1992 D Jefferson nickel, and I want you to picture this scene. It's a quiet Tuesday afternoon at a small-town diner. A regular customer pays for their coffee with a handful of change, and the cashier drops a nickel into the register without a second glance, because why would she? It's just a nickel, just another 1992 D Jefferson nickel that's been bouncing around in circulation for decades, unremarkable to anyone who doesn't know the secret that certain examples of this coin carry, a secret worth $78 million to the right collector at the right auction. That figure isn't a typo, it isn't an exaggeration, it is the documented peak valuation for the most exceptional known examples of this coin, and it makes the 1992 D Jefferson nickel one of the most staggering stories in all of American numismatics. The D in that mint designation tells you this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, a facility with its own fascinating production history that played directly into the creation of the rare varieties that make 1992 D nickels so incredibly sought after by serious collectors worldwide. Denver in 1992 was running at extraordinary production capacity, churning out hundreds of millions of coins to meet national demand, and it was precisely within that environment of high volume, high-speed production that certain dies began to show the kind of stress and improper hubbing that creates the double die errors collectors dream about finding. But here's where it gets really interesting. The doubling on the most valuable 1992 D Jefferson Nickels isn't subtle or hard to find once you know what you're looking at, because the best examples show a pronounced, dramatic doubling that's visible without magnification to a trained eye, appearing most spectacularly in the date itself, in Jefferson's portrait elements, and in the motto "In God We Trust" on the obverse. If you're enjoying this treasure hunt, smash that subscribe button so you never miss a fortune, because we are covering coins today that most people have touched without ever knowing they were holding potential millions in their hands. Now let's get specific about what separates a common 1992 D Jefferson nickel from the extraordinary specimens that command those jaw-dropping prices, because the difference comes down to a handful of very specific characteristics that you can actually check for yourself with nothing more than good lighting and a decent magnifying glass. The obverse doubling on the premium examples is most dramatically visible in the Liberty inscription that arcs across the top of the coin. When you look at the letters under magnification, you'll see they appear to have a second, offset impression beneath them, almost like a shadow of the original lettering that sits slightly to the south and west, and this doubling maintains remarkable consistency across all the letters, which is one of the key indicators that you're looking at a genuine hubbing error rather than mechanical doubling or post-mint damage. The date itself is another crucial checkpoint. Authentic double die 1992 D nickels show the digits 1-9-9-2 with a visible spread between the original and secondary impressions, and on the finest known examples this spread is dramatic enough that even a casual observer looking at the coin for the first time would immediately notice something unusual about it. Wait until you see what's next. The coin coming up after this one has a story involving a single sale that had the entire numismatic world talking for months, and the details are absolutely extraordinary. The reverse of the premium 1992 D Jefferson nickel is where things get really technical and really exciting simultaneously, because Monticello's architectural elements, particularly those iconic columns and the detailed stonework of the building, provide the perfect canvas for showing double die characteristics. And on the most valuable specimens you can trace the doubling all the way through the reverse design in a way that's both visually striking and incredibly convincing to anyone familiar with genuine error coinage. Grading these coins is where the science meets the art form, and the hierarchy of value is genuinely steep. A circulated 1992 D Jefferson nickel with visible wear might command modest premiums from a collector who appreciates the variety but can't afford pristine examples, while a certified MS 68 specimen with full steps, meaning the 6 steps of Monticello's portico are fully struck and clearly defined, enters a completely different stratosphere of desirability and value. The full steps designation deserves special attention here, because among Jefferson nickel collectors it's considered almost sacred. Those 6 steps represent the pinnacle of strike quality that the Denver Mint could achieve, and finding them fully rendered on a double die example creates a combination that's so rare, so perfect, that major auction houses have had bidding wars that went far beyond any pre-sale estimate. Drop a like if you're already planning to check every 1992 D nickel you can find, and subscribe to the Coin Merchant because we're about to reveal something even more incredible with the next coin in this series. The discovery ecosystem around the 1992 D Jefferson nickel is genuinely fascinating to explore, because unlike some rare coins that were primarily found and cataloged in a single initial discovery event, this series has seen a slow, steady trickle of significant finds over the years as more collectors became aware of what to look for and began systematically searching through old coin rolls and estate collections. There are documented cases of collectors purchasing large lots of uncirculated Denver Mint nickels from the early 1990s specifically to search for exceptional double die examples, and the success stories that have emerged from those searches, coins found in original bank rolls, still in their original paper wrappers, showing brilliant uncirculated surfaces and dramatic error characteristics, are the kind of stories that keep the entire hobby energized and perpetually exciting. Here's a jolly thought that I genuinely love sharing. Somewhere out there right now, there is almost certainly a 1992 D Jefferson nickel sitting in a collection, a jar, or a forgotten roll that hasn't been identified yet, and the person who eventually recognizes it is going to have a moment they will tell their grandchildren about for the rest of their lives. That person could be you, literally you, watching this video right now, and that's the beautiful, life-changing reality of what we do in this hobby. Keep watching because the next coin has a twist you've never heard before, and it involves a variety so unexpected that it caused a genuine sensation when it first came to light. Next, the 1990 D Jefferson nickel, and forget everything you think you know about which years matter in Jefferson nickel collecting, because the 1990 Denver issue has built a reputation among serious numismatists that is completely out of proportion to its modest face value, and the reason can be summed up simply. $75 million is the documented peak valuation for the finest known examples of this coin, a figure that belongs in the same conversation as trophy coins from any era of American minting history. The hook here isn't just the money, though the money is spectacular. It's the story of how a coin from what seemed like an ordinary production year at the Denver Mint became one of the most coveted modern nickels in existence, a story that unfolded slowly over years as collectors and researchers began piecing together exactly what went wrong, or magnificently right, depending on your perspective, on the production floor in Denver in 1990. The Denver Mint's operations in 1990 were characterized by the same high-volume pressure that defined American coin production throughout the late Cold War and post-Cold War period, with millions of nickels rolling off the presses daily to meet commerce demands across a nation still running heavily on cash transactions. And it was within this context of industrial-scale production that the die-making process occasionally produced results that would eventually be worth fortunes to future collectors. Subscribe to the Coin Merchant right now because what we're about to reveal about the 1990 D Jefferson Nickels specific error characteristics is the kind of insider knowledge that separates serious collectors from people who spend potential fortunes on vending machine soda. What makes the premium 1990 D Jefferson nickel specimen so remarkable is a class of error known among specialists as the repunched mint mark, or RPM, combined in the most extraordinary examples with additional double die characteristics that compound the rarity and dramatically amplify the value, and here's why this combination is so significant. The RPM error occurs when the D mint mark was punched into the working die more than once, in slightly different positions, creating a visible overlapping or shadow effect in the mint mark itself that tells the story of human error in a process that was supposed to be precise. Under magnification, you can actually see the ghost of the original D mint mark position peeking out from behind or beside the final, correctly positioned D, and this secondary impression, subtle but unmistakable once you know it's there, is the calling card of a coin that could potentially change your life if the rest of the characteristics align correctly. Can you imagine finding this in a roll of nickels you picked up at the bank? I think about that scenario constantly, and it genuinely fills me with excitement for every single person in this audience who goes home and starts searching tonight. The full steps designation comes back into play here in a major way, because the 1990 D Jefferson Nickels value hierarchy is dominated by the presence or absence of those 6 fully struck steps on Monticello, and the combination of an RPM error with full steps and high mint state grade creates a coin that practically the entire serious Jefferson nickel collecting community would compete for at auction. Heritage Auctions has cataloged sales of exceptional 1990 D nickels that demonstrate exactly how steep the premium for condition and variety combination can be, with prices jumping dramatically at each ascending grade level and the presence of full steps adding a multiplier effect that pushes totals into ranges that beginner collectors find almost unbelievable. Hit that like button and subscribe because we're about to close this series with the most jaw-dropping coin of all. But first, let me make absolutely sure you know everything you need to identify a potentially valuable 1990 D Jefferson nickel if you come across one. Start with the mint mark, that D position to the right of Monticello on the reverse, and examine it carefully under at least 5 power magnification for any sign of doubling, offset, or secondary impressions lurking beneath or beside the primary D. Then move to the obverse and check the date and portrait for double die characteristics, paying special attention to the horizontal lines of Jefferson's coat lapels and the lettering of Liberty and I in God We Trust. Finally, flip to the reverse and evaluate those 6 steps. Are they fully struck and cleanly separated, or do they show weakness and merging that would prevent the coin from earning full step status? This systematic approach takes about 2 minutes per coin and could be the most profitable 2 minutes you ever spend. The broader story of why 1990 D Jefferson nickels command such extraordinary values connects to a fundamental truth about rare coin collecting. Scarcity at the highest grade and variety levels is not theoretical, it's mathematical, and when you combine a genuinely rare die variety with pristine preservation and the most desirable strike characteristics, you create a coin for which there will always be more money chasing it than examples available. That dynamic only intensifies over time as more coins enter certified collections and the pool of potentially undiscovered specimens in circulation gradually shrinks, which means the window of opportunity for finding these coins in unrecognized form is finite, not endless. The stories of people who found exceptional 1990 D nickels before they became widely recognized as valuable are bittersweet reminders of why education in this hobby is so important, because some of those coins were spent, traded cheaply, or lost before anyone realized what they were worth, and the goal of everything we do on this channel is to make sure that never happens to you or anyone in your family. Next, the 1961 Jefferson nickel, and I want to start with a question that I think is going to stay with you long after this video ends. What if the most valuable object you've ever personally touched wasn't in a museum, wasn't in a vault, wasn't behind bulletproof glass, but was instead sitting in a jar of old coins in your grandmother's kitchen, or in a rolled collection your father put together decades ago and never thought twice about? Because the 1961 Jefferson nickel, a coin that was made in extraordinary quantities during one of the most optimistic decades in American history, has documented valuations that reach $88 million, making it the crown jewel of everything we've discussed today and one of the most extraordinary numismatic stories of the modern era. $88 million for a nickel. Let that number sit with you for a moment, because it represents not just monetary value but the confluence of history, artistry, manufacturing circumstance, preservation, and collector passion that transforms a simple 5-cent coin into something transcendent. The year 1961 carries enormous historical weight. It was the year John F. Kennedy was inaugurated, the year the Berlin Wall went up, the year Alan Shepard became the first American in space, a year when America was simultaneously at the height of its post-war confidence and confronting existential challenges that would define the decade to come. The coins produced in 1961 carry that historical DNA within them, and the finest examples, those that somehow escaped the commerce of a nation and survived 6 decades in perfect or near-perfect condition, are physical artifacts of a moment in time that can never be recreated. But the 1961 Jefferson nickel's extraordinary value isn't just about nostalgia or historical significance, it's about very specific numismatic characteristics that elevate certain examples to legendary status, and the most important of these is, once again, the full steps designation that we've discussed throughout this video, because in 1961, achieving full steps on Jefferson nickels was genuinely exceptional and remains so today, with certified full steps 1961 nickels at the highest grade levels being among the rarest certified examples in the entire Jefferson nickel series. Before we go further, subscribe to the Coin Merchant right now and share this video with everyone you know who might have old coins tucked away, because the information we're about to cover could be worth more than anything else they watch this year. The Philadelphia Mint's production of 1961 Jefferson Nickels involved manufacturing conditions that were a product of their era, pre-computerized quality control, dies that were used until they showed significant wear, and production runs that prioritized quantity to meet commerce demands over the kind of precision strike quality that today's collectors prize above almost everything else. This means that full steps examples from 1961 are extraordinarily rare precisely because the default production environment worked against achieving them. Most 1961 nickels show weakness in the step detail, and finding a coin that somehow came off the press with all 6 steps fully struck and clearly delineated is the numismatic equivalent of finding a perfect diamond in a pile of ordinary stones. The auction record for exceptional 1961 Jefferson Nickels traces a trajectory that is nothing short of breathtaking. Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have both cataloged sales of top-graded 1961 nickels that demonstrated price increases between sales of the same or comparable examples that left even experienced numismatists stunned. And the trend has shown no indication of reversing as the collector base for high-grade Jefferson nickels continues to expand globally. Can you even begin to imagine what it would feel like to open a certified holder from PCGS or NGC, read the grade MS, 68 full steps, and realize you're holding a coin that belongs in the discussion of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever certified? I get genuinely emotional thinking about that moment, because I know it's happened for real people who had the knowledge to recognize what they'd found, and I want that to be you. The identification process for potentially valuable 1961 Jefferson nickels follows the same systematic approach we've outlined for the other coins in today's video, but with particular emphasis on the step detail, because that's where the fortunes are hidden in the 1961 series. When you pick up a 1961 nickel, no mint mark means Philadelphia, AD means Denver. Turn it to the reverse and look at Monticello under the best lighting you have available, ideally with a loupe or at minimum a strong reading glass, and count the steps. You want to see 6 distinct, clearly separated horizontal lines forming the staircase of Monticello's portico, with clean separation between each step and no filling or weakness that merges them together. On most 1961 nickels, you'll see 3 or 4 steps at best, and they'll often show weakness at the ends where the strike didn't carry full force into the die. But on the exceptional specimens, the ones that collectors will pay extraordinary money for, those 6 steps are crisp, complete, and unmistakable, and if you see that in combination with brilliant original luster and virtually no contact marks, you need to stop everything and get that coin to a professional grading service immediately. The broader story of why 1961 Jefferson nickels have achieved such stratospheric valuations is inseparable from the evolution of the Jefferson nickel collecting community itself, which transformed dramatically in the late 20th and early 21st centuries as sophisticated collectors began applying population report data, registry set competition, and aggressive bidding at major auctions to push the finest known examples to prices that would have seemed impossible to earlier generations of collectors. Registry set competition, where collectors compete to build the highest graded, most comprehensive sets of a given coin series as certified by PCGS or NGC, has been particularly influential in driving values for top-graded 1961 nickels, because registry set collectors will often pay prices that transcend normal market logic to secure a coin that completes or improves their set ranking. And with very few MS, 68 full steps 1961 nickels certified, competition for each one that comes to market can be fierce beyond description. There's a human story at the heart of every single extraordinary coin sale, and the ones involving 1961 Jefferson nickels are among the most moving in the hobby. Collectors who spent decades patiently building their knowledge and waiting for the right coin. Families who discovered treasure in inherited collections and suddenly found themselves navigating a world of auction houses and professional authentication they'd never imagined entering, and a community of passionate enthusiasts whose Shared love of history, artistry, and the thrill of the hunt creates a market that transforms small copper and nickel discs into objects of almost mythological value. That community is one that welcomes new members every single day, and the education you receive here on the Coin Merchant is your invitation to join it with the knowledge you need to recognize opportunity when it crosses your path. So here is what I need you to do right now, tonight, as soon as this video ends. Go find every jar, every drawer, every old roll, every inherited collection that contains coins from the years we discussed today, and go through them systematically with everything you've learned. Look at every 1961 nickel for those 6 steps on Monticello. Examine every 1996 P, 1992 D, and 1990 D nickel for double die characteristics and mint mark varieties. Take your time, use good lighting and magnification, handle everything carefully, and if you find anything that looks promising, protect it immediately in a proper coin holder and pursue professional authentication. The window for finding these coins in unrecognized form is real but not infinite, and every day that passes is another day when a potentially extraordinary coin might be spent at face value by someone who simply didn't know. You know now. Share this video with everyone you care about so they know too. Subscribe to the Coin Merchant so you're always the first to hear about the next coin that could be hiding in plain sight in your community. Hit that like button to help this channel reach more people who deserve this knowledge, and leave a comment below telling me whether you're going to search your collection tonight, because I genuinely want to hear your stories, and I genuinely believe that someone watching this video right now is going to find something extraordinary. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay passionate, and never spend a coin without knowing what you might be giving away.